Hello, hello. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Please come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Okay, let me turn the camera around. Hey, welcome to my scope today. This is going to be kind of short, but I wanted to come in and share a little bit with you tonight about that whole process of going from caterpillar to butterfly. Back in November, well, actually, it started around October and September of 2015 for me. It's been a slow journey, and I'm sure you've been on that journey before as well. And it's transforming your life from one stage to another. Welcome. I'm Ramona Jones. I'm a poet, an author, and a life coach. And today's scope is about that place of frustration between the person that you are now and the person that you know that you want to be. Welcome, Monica. Thank you for joining me. Please invite your followers. Swipe up if you're on the Android and invite your followers, or you can swipe to the right if you're on the iOS. Please tweet this out. So, how many of you have ever felt like you knew you had greatness in you, that you were meant to do more, to be more? But thank you so much for inviting your followers, Monica. If you have that feeling, to my live followers and to my replay followers, if you've ever had that feeling, then I want you to know that you're on a journey, that you're on a path. You're being called out. You're being called up higher. You're being called into your purpose. Whenever you feel like there's something more for you, you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't really describe it, but you have this feeling that you know that you know that you know that you were meant for greatness. That's you, Monica. Okay, well, great. Thank you. So this is the scope for you. And you've been having this feeling. Maybe it just started, or maybe you've had this feeling for a while. But you knew down in your heart that you were meant to do more, to be more. Or there was something, a dream that you had that you saw yourself doing, but you couldn't really get any traction in your life. If that's you, raise your hand by giving me a 1 or giving me some hearts or whatever. We're going to talk about that place. So in this place, wow, okay, well, thank you. I'm so glad this is for you. In this place, you begin to feel frustrated. You are like that caterpillar. And the beauty of the caterpillar is that it's born, the egg is laid, the larva is laid on a leaf. And the sole purpose of the caterpillar is to eat and eat and eat. It just keeps eating. And right now, you're probably consuming education. You're probably going from conference to conference. You're probably seeking mentors. You're probably seeking personal development because that's who you are. You're so hungry to find yourself. You're so hungry to understand your purpose. Why am I created? I know I should be doing more. I know I was created for more. So you're eating, you're consuming, but it feels like you're eating all this, but you're not producing anything. You're just getting heavier and heavier, and it's like you're crawling slower and slower, and you're going from leaf to leaf, but it's all low-hanging stuff. It's all ground level stuff. And if you notice the caterpillar, it has like all of these feet, and it's grounded and it's centered, and it's only the only reach it has is from the ground. The only view of life that it has is from the ground. Now, it may be able to kind of look up a little bit, but it's really a ground view because its head is always down eating. It's always down consuming. You're looking down. But now You're being called. You feel this call to come up higher. You feel this call to do something greater. You feel this call to shift. And sometimes life works with you in the shift. Things start to move out of your way. Things start to change. The things that you used to consume, it's like you've had enough of that. It's like you don't even want that anymore. The places that you used to go, they don't even interest you anymore. The things that you used to do no longer interest you. Maybe you're in a dead-end job and you've been doing the job for so long and you've done it for so well that you can do it in your sleep, but you know that you're not fulfilled in that. You know that you're empty in that place. So maybe you've been displaced. And now you have to make a choice to say, what is my next? What am I going to do next? Welcome in for my live followers and for my replay viewers. I'm Ramona Jones, a coach and a life poet. And I'm scoping tonight about that place of frustration between your caterpillar and your butterfly. And if this is for you, then I want you to be encouraged that call to do something bigger and greater is your call upward. It's your call higher. And I want you to accept that call. And I want you to go for it with everything that you have. And even though your crawl may be slow, your progress may be slow, it's time for you to stop consuming. You've consumed enough. You've learned enough. You have everything that you need in you to do what you've been created to do. Once you answer the call, once you say yes to your call for greatness, the next call is to say yes to you, to believe that you can become what you've been dreaming. Thank you so much for joining me, SCB. Thank you. If you could type your name in and let me know where you're scoping in from, that would be awesome. And if you can invite your followers, I would love to have your followers to come in to hear this message as well. So if you feel like it's time for you to, hi Shannon, New Orleans. Oh, welcome, Shannon, New Orleans. So if you feel like it's your time to move out in purpose and destiny, and you've got that call to come up higher, from the caterpillar to turn into that butterfly, once you say yes to the call on your purpose, then the DNA for your butterfly wings automatically comes on. It's automatically turned on. And now you are in this state of cognitive discontent. And you can no longer be your old self, but you're not yet your new self. And you're torn between these two forces pulling on you. The one force is making you just a ground dweller. Your mind is going to old strategies. Your mind is trying to use old tools, but you're being called to something new, a place you've never been before that's going to require new tools and new strategies. You don't have the skills for where you're going yet, but you have enough in you to fulfill your purpose and your destiny. It's time for you to learn something new. So I want to encourage you tonight to not give up, even though your progress is going to seem slow, because now you have to get off the ground, get off the leaves and climb up on a tree like the caterpillar. To actually spin a web and actually suspend yourself from a branch. You have to climb up on something that's higher than you. You have to climb up in that place where you can just let go of everything that you thought you knew about yourself. It's time for you to be transformed. It's time for you to get your wings. That means that you have to let go of the old you. You have to let go of everything that you knew how to do, everything that you trusted in, and trust the DNA that's inside of you to kick in. It's in that place of total surrender that you actually find your wings. It's in that place of total surrender that the DNA actually starts to transform. Once you surrender completely, once you let go of everything that's in you and surrender to the call, the transformation process begins. Change can be instituted, but transformation has to be surrendered to. You have to say yes to transformation. You have to be willing to be brand new. You have to be willing to learn new things. And that's where I am today. I'm transitioning. I was displaced from my job, and I knew that there was greater for me. I had skills that I had been accumulating all through my life, skills that I'm now using to build my own business, skills of writing books in me that I had just been sitting on. It's been 10 years since I wrote my first book. And now I'm moving back into my purpose. I'm moving back into my destiny. I've let go of the old me. And it's a journey. I'm still suspending myself from the branch that's higher than myself. I'm suspending myself into total trust that my wings are being formed and that one day I'm going to break out. So it's a struggle right now because I'm in that place where I'm not quite sure what it's going to look like, but I know I can't go back to where I am. And if that's where you are, I want to encourage you in the frustration to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, that enabling power to say yes to your future, to say yes to what's in front of you, to be able to let go of those things that are behind you, those things that no longer serve you, those things that have been draining you of your power, those things that have been causing you to dry up and wither on the inside because what you were supposed to be doing was locked inside of you. Now when you let it out, it's turning yourself inside out, so to speak. When you cocoon yourself away, you're turning yourself inside out. Thank you so much, Kelly, for joining me. Please invite your followers and tweet it out. Swipe up or to the right. So in that place of frustration between your caterpillar state and your butterfly wings, I want you to be encouraged. It's going to be a slow journey, but you have to shift your mind because you can no longer go back. Once you say yes to your purpose, you can no longer go back to that old state. Never go back. Actually, in this place between your caterpillar and your butterfly wings, don't stop, because if you stop, you're going to die. Your dreams are going to die in you. You'll never achieve what you've been put here to achieve. So I want you to be encouraged to keep moving. It's going to be a slow crawl while you're still in that caterpillar body. But just know on the inside, you've got your butterfly wings. Because once you said yes to your purpose, as soon as you said yes to your purpose, the DNA kicked in for you to start getting those wings. That's why you feel this call. That's why you feel that tug for you to go up and for you to move forward. That's why you can no longer be satisfied with where you were. Thank you for inviting your followers, Kelly. You can no longer be satisfied with where you were. You can no longer be satisfied in a dead-end job that's not part of your destiny. You can no longer be satisfied in a relationship that's not honoring you. You can no longer be satisfied with hiding. You can no longer be satisfied with playing small. Something is calling you up higher. And if you haven't said yes yet, I want you to say yes and surrender. And if you already said yes, I want you to keep on climbing up. Climb up on something higher than you. Like the caterpillar has to climb up on a tree and suspend itself from a branch. Find you a branch that's taller than you. Start having your higher perspective. Stop looking at the old strategies and start looking at new strategies. You're going to need new strategies for where you're going because you've never been this way before. So you're going to need those new strategies. Yes, Kelly, surrender and come on up higher. And the thing of it is that when the caterpillar goes into its cocoon, everything about it dissolves into this seemingly glob of nothingness. But that's the DNA at work. And if you're feeling frustrated, feeling like nothing is working for you, nothing is familiar to you, you're in that place where the DNA is starting to make your wings. The DNA is starting to, all the things that you've been through in your life, all the trouble that you've come through, all of that is the color in your wings. And all of that is being thrown in the mix of life. And your DNA is shaping the color and the shape of your wings. And all you have to do is give yourself time and to keep saying yes to the new you. Stop looking at the old you. That person is gone. Start looking toward the new you. You're in the midst of it right now. Yes, so I want to encourage you in the midst. I want to encourage you in this twilight space. You're coming out of trouble. You're on your way to your breakthrough. It is hard, but see, if you set your mind, because your mind is your battlefield. Your mind is the place of the battle. And what you have to do to achieve some level of peace in this place is to be able to let go of the old. Sometimes we hold on to things because we feel like that we'll never get anything back, that this is all that I've got. And if I let this go, I'll have nothing. But that's a lie. That's not true. Your life is ahead of you. There are great things for you. And once you surrender to who you are becoming, because we're always becoming when we're developing ourselves, when we're using professional development, and when we're seeking mentors and coaches and people who are already where we want to be, when we're reaching out to them, then we are shaping our mind. We're shifting our perspective. We're looking at things in a different way. So you have to start with your mind, because whenever you have a thought, it is attached to an emotion. So you have to start thinking as the person that you are becoming. So you take your mind to who you are becoming. And then you start feeling happy about that place. Start feeling joy. Smile when you think about you in your new role. When you think about you in your new job, your new place of being. Put a smile on your face. Like eating away worries doesn't work for what's ahead of me. Yes, you can't worry about right now, because you're talking about your future. You're talking about where you're going. So if you keep on dwelling on where you've been, on the trouble that you're coming out of, it's going to grab you and grip you and won't let you go. Trouble doesn't want to let you go. But you have to cut the hand of trouble off of you. And you cut it off by deciding who you want to be. You have to start being right now who you are supposed to be in your future. Who do you want to be when you wake up in the morning? Who do you want to be a week from now, a year from now? You start defining yourself, because if you don't define yourself, the world will. Somebody else will. So you start defining who you are. You say, who do I want to be? What's my characteristics? How do I want to think? How do I want to feel? And then you begin to speak that and say, I am. The power in the I am, whatever comes after I am, the brain believes it. So you start confirming yourself. You start speaking life over yourself. You start speaking purpose and destiny for yourself. And that starts to shape your mind. And then you start looking for new strategies, because what worked in your old season, it's not going to be enough to carry you into the new. It was enough to get you to this point where you are right now. But you're going to need new strategies, new tools, new friends sometimes to take you into your future. And once you shift your mind, then your heart begins to shift. You begin to love you in this new place. You begin to pick up on what do I need to do right now to become who I need to be tomorrow. For instance, if you're wanting to write that book, what do I need to do today to become an author? Well, authors publish. Authors write. So if you haven't written that book yet, then sit down and say, well, what do I need to do? First of all, just start journaling. Just start writing. And then you start looking at, well, who can I get to help me to do this? Or you start doing your research on what do I need next? And then you start building toward where you're going, day by day, moment by moment. And don't be afraid to dream big. Thank you, Ramona, for joining me. Yes, my character is not sustainable for my new life. Yes. Okay, so if your character is not sustainable for your new life, then that's where you start. You start changing and learning. And there's a lot of free resources out there. There's some low-cost resources out there. And then there's some that cost more money. But start where you are. Because you can start doing something for yourself. And that's talking to yourself. Self-talk. I think the statistics is about 80% of what impacts us is what we say to ourselves. And the 20% is external. So if the 20% is coming from external sources telling you negative things, then that's going to shape you a little bit. It works for me. Yes, okay, Ramona. Yes. And so the 80% of your self-talk is the important element of your shift, of your transformation, because you have to believe you. So do some mirror exercises. Before you go to bed at night, look yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and start decreeing some things over you. Celebrate you. Celebrate what you did well that day. Celebrate what you like about yourself. Celebrate where you're going. Yes, Ramona, you said use sticky notes. And yes, mirror exercises. Yes, you have to start talking to yourself. You have to encourage yourself. And if you don't have any examples around you, find those examples. Start finding examples of people you can model. But the thing to be careful about is not to compare yourself to them. Because the people that you are looking to as your mentors, they've perhaps been practicing this for 20 years. And you haven't seen them in the journey. You see them in their mountaintop experience, but you haven't seen them in their valley. So you can't compare your now to somebody who's 20 years ahead of you. But what you can do is you can look at the steps. Well, how did they get there? Let me apply those steps to my life. And the other thing that you can do as well is to know that this is a journey. And it's step by step, moment by moment. Give yourself the grace to mess up, to fail forward. Okay, if I didn't get it right today, I can get it right tomorrow. Let me just shift what I did. What didn't work here? What can I tweak? What can I do differently tomorrow that's going to get me one step closer to where I want to be, to the character that I need? What kind of time do I need to spend in prayer or meditation, thinking about who I am, visualizing who I can be? And those steps, just you alone with you, talking to yourself, is going to help you to begin to change your mindset, to begin to see you differently. And you have to see things differently because life happens to us sometimes, but we don't have to be influenced by what happened to us. We have to make a choice and a decision to say, who can I be in spite of what happened to me? What can I learn from this lesson in life? God says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am enough. Yes, that's another thing too. Go and find you some Bible scriptures. Hey, R.A.J. Doe, thank you for joining. Invite your followers. Tweet it out. Swipe up. I'm Ramona Jones, an author, a poet, and a life coach. And I'm tweeting today about that frustration between your caterpillar and your butterfly. Encouraging you to stay in the journey. It may feel a little slow. You may feel like you're trudging mud trying to get to where you need to go. But I'm telling you that if you stay in the press, if you keep on coming, one day you're going to get your wings. But if you stop now, once you've answered the call, if you stop now, you're going to die in this place of frustration. Your dreams are going to die. You're going to feel withered on the vine. And I want you to live. I want so much for you to live your purpose. I want so much for you to live in your destiny. I want so much for you to share your gifts with the world. It's why you were born. You have gifts. You have talents. You have abilities. You have skills. You have something to share with the world. And you can't let it die in your heart. You can't let it die in your dreams. I want you to live. Thank you so much for following me. Thank you so much for the heart. Thank you so much, Precious Living, for joining me. Please invite your friends, your followers. Please tweet it out, swipe up, swipe to the right. Invite people, encourage your friends to come through and be encouraged because we're moving from the caterpillar to the butterfly. How many of you want your wings? If you want your wings, give me a 2. Give me a 2. Give me 2. 2 for each wing. We don't want a half wing. We don't want one wing. We want 2 wings. Give me some 2s. Come on, we want the full butterfly effect. Give me some 2s. Who else? I see Ramona. Ramona wants her wings. Who else wants their wings? Okay. There's another 2. We got some wings coming in. Okay. We're going to get our wings. We're going to get our wings. We're not going to let anything stop us. And the thing is opposition is coming. You have to be ready for it. You have to know that opposition is coming your way. It's a Just part of life. Life is going to happen. But what are you going to do? When life pushes at you, what are you going to do? I want you to push back. I want you to keep coming. Despite the gale winds, despite the mud that you're trudging through, despite, people walking away from you or people rejecting you, despite all of those things, I want you to keep on coming because the wings are for you. And if you said yes to your purpose, now it's time for you to say yes to you. And saying yes to you means what? It means that you have to develop the character that you need for tomorrow, for your next week, for your next year. You can't have the same mindset that you had in your past. It's not going to sustain you. You have to change your mind. You have to shift your mind. You have to shift your perspective. You have to stop hiding. Some of you have been hiding behind jobs that are not part of your destiny. Some of you have been hiding in relationships that are not beneficial to you. Some of you have been hiding on the sidelines, just kind of maybe doing a little bit of your gifting on the side, but not fully walking into it. I want you to fully walk into your purpose. Let 2016, let this year of Jubilee be the year that you possess your possessions. Let this be the year that you say yes to yourself. You've been saying yes to everybody else. You've been giving your time and strength and energy to everybody else. Why not give it to you? Aren't you worth it? Yes, you are. I'm here to tell you that you're worth it. And guess what? The world is waiting for you. Somebody needs what you've got. Somebody needs what you've been through because they're struggling. They don't have what you've learned. And what I want you to do in an exercise for the night, for over the next 24 hours, I want you to look back over your life and the trouble that you came through. And I want you to go back, not to go back to live there. So this is going to be a quick drive through. A quick drive through your past, a quick drive through your life, your past, your trouble. And what I want you to do is go and snatch your treasure. I want you to go and snatch your lesson. Go and snatch what you learned from that because it taught you something. And a lot of times when we leave out of our trouble, we forget to take our life lessons with us. We forget to take what we've learned about ourselves. What did the trouble teach you about yourself? Perhaps it taught you that you were stronger than you thought. Because if you survived something, maybe it was an abusive relationship or maybe it was a dysfunctional marriage. But if you were able to hold yourself intact and walk out of it, you walked out of it. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you for joining. Invite your followers. Whatever trouble that you've been through, if you're out of it now, or if you're on your way out of it, there was a lesson in there. And you can take passion from your pain. You can take treasure from your trouble. You can get a message from your mess. And if you're walking out of trouble and you're not taking that treasure and those gifts with you, you're leaving money on the table. Because what you've learned, somebody else needs. You can take and package what you've learned. You can write it in a book. Somebody needs to read it. Somebody needs to know how you came out, how you came through. So, what I want you to do is to be encouraged while you're on your way from your caterpillar state, moving to your butterfly to get your wings. Once you've said yes to your purpose, the DNA has already kicked in. That means that you're in process. So just keep climbing. Climb up on something greater than yourself. And then be able to surrender, to suspend yourself from a branch like the caterpillar has to spin that cocoon, wall itself in, and hide itself from the world and surrender. And once it surrenders, it dissolves into almost seemingly nothing. But that dissolving means letting go of who you thought you were, letting go of all the past, everything in your past, so that you can say yes to your future. And in that seemingly place where nothing, where you have to let go of everything that's in your hands, and stop holding on to things because you think that there's not going to be any better. There's not going to be any more. That's the place I was. I was holding on to a marriage that wasn't working because I felt like there's not going to be another man. I'm not going to get married again. I'm going to be alone. Those were all negative thoughts, and they were all wrong thoughts. My best days are ahead of me. My life is what I choose to make it. So if you're holding on to what's in your hands because you're afraid if you let that go that you'll have nothing, then I want you to be able to sow that as seeds for your future. I want you to be able to give it as a gift so that you can move on. Because if you're holding on to anything in your past, you're going to be tied to it. You're not going to be able to move freely into your future. You can't suspend yourself like the caterpillar when you're holding on to all of this anger or all of this hatred or frustration or rejection or any negative emotions and feelings. All of that stuff is eating you up. It's affecting your health. And once you can let it go, release people, forgive people. Start with forgiving yourself, because the decisions that you made that perhaps put you into trouble, breach, were made because you didn't have the knowledge that you needed. But now that you know better, you can do better. And you owe it to yourself to do better. You owe it to yourself to come out of trouble. But while you're on your way through the twilight, where you don't quite know what you're going to look like on the other side, but you know that you're breaking through. But you know you can't go back to where you were, because that's bondage, and because that's the place of pain, and that place prepared you and gave you the strength that you need to push through into your new. So take the treasure, take the mess from your message, and go forth into your future. Surrender to the call of your purpose. And then begin to journal and write down everything that you've learned from the trouble that you've been through. And look with great anticipation for your wings, because they're coming. Now, the one thing, as the caterpillar forms into this goo, and then the DNA begins to work so that the wings are being transformed into the beautiful butterfly, all the trouble that you've been through is now the coloring in your wings. And once your wings are formed, give yourself the grace and the time to go through the process. Because we don't want any ill-formed wings, because we want to be able to fly once we come out of the cocoon. Because see, you have to beat your wings too to break through your cocoon. So even though you're almost there, and some people are at different places, don't compare yourself to other people. Go through your process. Give yourself the grace to go through your process. Because right now, I'm adding more frustration onto myself, because I see where I want to go and I have a lot to do. And so I want to be there like right now. So I'm trying to like do it all at one time. I want it right now. I want this microwave thing. But I have to keep reminding myself that it's a journey. It's a marathon and not a sprint. And I give myself grace to move one step forward at a time, incrementally. And so I want to encourage you to do that as well. So, and then the last thing that you'll have to do before you come out to show your wings to the world is to beat them against the cocoon. And that beating of your wings is actually strengthening them so that you can fly. And once you break out, there's going to be a breeze there waiting for you to welcome you. There's going to be a breeze waiting there to help dry your wings. And so even before you fly, there's going to be a breeze that's going to dry your wings. And when you're ready to fly, you're going to take the sky and you're going to soar. And the world is going to see you differently. They're going to be like, who is this? Where did she come from? Or where did he come from? You're not going to even believe it yourself. You're going to be like, who is this woman? Who is this man? I don't even recognize me. But I want you to say that. I want you to decree that for yourself for this year, that my life is going to be unrecognizable. I said that for myself on my birthday in November. I said I want my next 50 years to be totally unrecognizable to my last 50. I want these years to count. I want to do everything that I was created to do. I want to come in the volume of the book that was written of me. And you said, me too, Ramona? Okay, yes, you too. And I hope that all of you will declare that for yourself. I want my next 50 to be greater. I want to make an impact on the world. I want to release every gift that I have in me. I want to help every person that I was called to help. And I hope this scope has helped you. My life is going to be unrecognizable. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Say that. And so a couple exercises that I want you to do before we end our scope tonight is do the mirror exercises before you go to bed. Congratulate yourself on what you've accomplished on that day. Tell yourself that you're beautiful. Tell yourself that you can do whatever you put your mind to, and then begin to shift your mind into where you're going. Start becoming the person that you need to be next year, the year after that. If you're wanting to build a business, start thinking like a CEO. If you say, well, I don't know how to think like a CEO, then there's personal development. Go and hang around CEOs, see what CEOs are reading, and you begin to build yourself up to become who you need to be. What systems do I need to put in place? There's a lot of great scopes here that people are sharing on Periscope. You can find almost anybody to follow that can help shape your destiny and what you want to do. You have to just reach out for it and go get it. I want you to go and get your life back. Take your life back. Take you back. Say yes to you. Because you've been saying yes to everybody else. It's time for you to say yes to you. It's time for you to come on up higher, to take that higher perspective, and to get your wings. I'm rooting for you. I'm praying for you. And this has been Ramona Jones, poet, life coach, and author, wishing you peace in the process, joy on the other side of your troubles, and wings for your breakthrough so that you can go and pollinate the world. God bless you too, precious living. I am so glad that you spent your time with me. I know you could have been anywhere else, but I trust that this scope has really encouraged you to stay in the press, to stay in the journey, to see yourself differently, to go for everything that you have in your life that's ahead of you. Let go of what's in the past. Let it go. It's just a weight. You don't need the extra weight. You need to start taking off stuff. You need to start laying stuff down because your journey is already heavy enough. So start taking off stuff. Just take it off, take it off, take it off. As you're on your way up. You don't want anything to weigh you down. Just start letting people go. Start letting stuff go. Start forgiving people. Start releasing people. Bless them. You gave them your time. You gave them your life. If they walked out on you, bless them as they go. Say thank you. And you keep moving forward because God has great plans for you. You have great giftings and talents on the inside of you. You have treasure that you have not yet even explored. It's time for you to take some time for you and start blessing yourself. Start encouraging yourself. Start looking for the gift that you really are to the world so that you can give it. And then begin to develop that gifting so that you can present it well packaged. And as you work on you, the more beautiful your wings are going to be. So if you put the effort into you becoming the greatest you that you can become, then when you come out to the world, they're going to see the best of you. And we don't always have to be perfect, though. But we're always striving to get better and better and better. So don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself grace. Give yourself time. But also know that grace is enabling power. You have the grace to do what you have been created to do because it's already in your DNA. So I encourage you to say yes to you, to stop hiding and stop playing small. It's time out for all of those low-level ground crawling activities. It's time for you to take a higher perspective and climb up so that you can soar up. All right. Thank you so much for joining me again. This has been Ramona Jones, poet, author, and life coach. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Be blessed. I love you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.